Well, my guest is no stranger to daytime TV. She was the perky Blue Peter presenter who moved on to waking up the nation from the GMTV sofa. And today I am absolutely thrilled to bits to say she's going to be adorning my beautiful pink sofa. It is the one and only, the gorgeous Anthea Turner. Yes,
my Blue Peter
do you
badge.
normally wear it? I mean, just for real life, just for going about your daily business?
Of course I do, absolutely. Do you know, there was a time before cameras and bus lanes when if you got pulled over by a policeman, I go, I'm so sorry, officer. I'm so sorry to have done that. I could interest you in a Blue Peter badge, could I?
Interest was not the word. I mean, it was kind of mystical, magical, a little bit like the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow.
But of course, it got you into places.
Oh, my
it was
goodness.
something to covet, and there are people who always will say to me, "You don't have a Blue Peter badge, do you?" Because my husband's always wanted one, and he's done all of these wonderful, amazing things. And could you? I have got a few.
Are you allowed to sort of?
Well, I don't know. I've got a few for very special people, but I tell you what, even there, because you see, once a Blue Peter presenter, always a Blue Peter presenter, that I have passed on a few badges, but I always say you have to earn them.
Well, you certainly
have
do.
to have done something.
I knew somebody
heroic.
who sent in all his magnificent scrapbooks about something, and he was rewarded for this endeavour with a Blue Peter badge. But if you just sent in, please give me one, you didn't get one. You had to do something really deserving.
But you know, I haven't got a gold one. And this is a real, can I just say this publicly?
Yeah,
it's
you
a real
can.
bugbear of mine.
That's a scandal.
Because it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because I know, obviously, Valerie Singleton has got one, quite rightly, and I know my friend Diane Louise Jordan has got one. And then they gave people who just left the programme a gold Blue Peter badge.
Where's
Nothing.
yours?
Nothing.
I think we should start a petition.
Could we?
Because some things really matter, and this is one
I
of
do.
them.
You know, Tracy Island, come on.
Well, Tracy Allen, come on. I told everyone I saw yesterday and the day before, Anthea's coming in. Every single one of them said, ask her to make another Tracy Island. I'm not going to. But if I had, would you be able to still?
Yes,
Have you got the smarts still to do it?
No, I could. I made so many. We practised so long and hard to do the biggest make live on television that Blue Peter had ever done, that I must have made 20 of the parts, just practising.
Just remind people why this was a big deal, because it was an incredibly expensive toy and very hard to get hold of, wasn't it?
Hamleys even had run out.
Yeah.
And everybody wanted it. It was all on everybody's Christmas list. There's this lovely thing called Tracy Island, and not one
Thunderbird,
to
was
be
it
had
Thunderbird?
anywhere. And we didn't have eBay. We didn't have second-hand things that you could have got hold of. Thunderbird had a sort of a remake as well. And the editor of Blue Peter went, I think we could make one. We can save the nation's Christmas.
Ingredients, because everyone remembers the inside of loo rolls.
Yes, of course.
And the inside, and very often like a
Philadelphia
bottle
pot
of washing up liquid was a thing.
Yeah. But on Tracy Island, a lot of papier-mâché, which is where, sadly, I think it went wrong, because people would make it, they'd over-damp the papier-mâché,
right,
and it didn't dry.
You don't want to over-damp your papier-mâché. It's one of the things both of us have learned in life, isn't it? Very important.
End up mouldy.
Well, later on in the show, we're going to be talking about the television that we'd love to bring back, the TV that we really miss. It kind of strikes a warm feeling, and that's coming up later. But first of all, I mean, it is true to say that you are on the verge, at least, of being a blushing bride at this interesting phase of life, and I love seeing you because I see you around and about all the time, and it's clear you're in
This
love.
is like being in your house.
Yeah, I know. This
so
is like my
nice.
house, but it's clear that you are in love, and I think that gives hope to so many of us that you could find Mr. not just right, Mr. Absolutely
Very
perfect for you. Very, very right.
Well, I am a Gemini, and I think those of us who live under this star sign, and don't worry, I don't believe in all of it, but I quite like to pick and choose. I am the eternal optimist, and I always felt after my divorce that I would meet somebody, and it would be the person who I was going to walk off into the sunset with and get married. And I know it's one of the topics that you want to talk about today, but Of course, I had, and she's been on your programme, I had the Lizzie Cundy Fairy.
Yes, I hope she's going to work the same magic for me. I am relying on Lizzie Cundy to get me out of this singledom, which I'm still not used to. I'm trying to pretend I am, but I'm not really. I would like Lizzie to do for me what she did for you. I believe you were quite reluctant to go on the date.
Yes, I was. Well,
Why didn't you fancy it?
Well, no, I saw some pictures and I thought he would look gorgeous.
Yeah.
But he was younger than me, and you know his background had been in sort of events and clubs, and he did the club awards and things like that. And I thought, oh, no, he's going to want somebody glamorous.
See
and
a
that's
picture
not
of the
me.
two of you there, and he is, as you can see, everybody. He is rather a delicious
bit rock and roll.
gentleman. He's rather delicious. Yeah.
And I thought, no. And so I said I wasn't going. She told Mark that I was desperate to see him. And then she couldn't get me there. And so she said, right, I'm coming with you. So she arranged a dinner.
So as your wing woman, she was actually present at the dinner.
She was
so
there
was there
on
a
my
point?
first date.
Was it during the soup? Was it during the main course? When you just suddenly thought, Lizzie, why don't you get a phone call and have to disappear? When was that?
Well, I don't know. At the point, I was intrigued by this man. Yeah. And he seemed to be lavishing me a lot of attention, which of course we love. Don't
cool,
we?
Absolutely.
We love it.
And actually, tip to gentlemen who take women on dates. Show a bit of attention. Look people in the eye, the woman in the eye. Say something nice. Because very often, I've been on a few, I haven't been on that many, but I've been on a few where they don't do anything of the kind. You feel as if you don't need to be there at all. It's horrible.
And I'm not really cool. And he isn't really cool. So it was really, it was such a lovely date. It was lovely having Lizzie there. And then obviously you said, Lizzie, I tell you what, I'll do the next date on my own, if that's okay.
How long did it take for you to feel secure, confident that he really was a keeper?
It was actually very quickly. And, Mark will always say, which is a lovely thing, he said, the quickest thing I've ever done in my life is fall in love with you.
Wow, that's a lovely thing to say.
And I now know that he absolutely meant that.
Wow.
Because I know him so well. And I feel blessed and lucky to... Do you know, Esther Ransom said something to me, and I've never forgotten this. And it was when Desmond, because she had an amazing marriage to Desmond, and when he passed away, which was about a week after my wedding, actually, they came to my wedding. I've got beautiful pictures of the both of them. And then, unfortunately, he passed away. And I was talking to Esther about sort of, her life. She was sort of pulling it back together. Would she ever meet anybody else? And she said, I have a very full address book. She said, I could go out every single night wearing nice clothes, events. I know so many people. But what I miss is somebody to do nothing with.
And I just say,
I have never forgotten that.
Dame Esther is not very well at all. We know that because her daughter Rebecca says that she's really not well enough ever to travel or anything else. And so I'm just going to look into that camera. There's a remote possibility she may be watching this. And the reason I think that is because I texted her on Sunday and she replied with a row of kisses.
Oh.
So Esther, we're thinking of you.
Absolutely.
We love you. We miss you. And you're in our hearts forever and ever. Ever. All right, let's get straight to our first topic now. Anthea's engaged to the lovely Mark. She's planning to get married. But when it comes to love, how much does marriage really matter? I'd love your opinions and stories on this one. So do get your calls in 0207 862 2222. That is the number. Research has revealed that marriage rates have dropped below 50% for the first time ever. And it's not just happening here in the UK. In the US, marriage has decreased by 60% since the 1970s. So are we falling out of love with marriage, or is being holy wedlock, is still that the most desirable state to be in? I mean, have you actually got to the stage of planning the wedding yet?
Well, we started planning it, and then it was COVID, and then we sort of unplanned it, and then sadly Mark's mum was very ill. So we had quite a bit of toing and froing with Mark's mum. We obviously dearly wanted her to be at the wedding. Sadly, she died, and then my mum passed away as well. And so, to be honest, we haven't really picked up the threads properly. We go, yes, we must get around to doing that. We must do it. And we both want to do it. And I feel, and I don't know whether it's just an age thing. I don't want Mark to be he's not my boyfriend. It sounds a bit weird.
So you mean
actually.
You want to be next of kin, legally wed?
I just think
matrimony.
it's visceral. There's just something that is a feeling that it's no use pulling it apart. There's no use, I want it because, and let's go on this tick list of all the things that are good about being married. Some of them are just purely practical. But it's a feeling that he is so important to me.
Yeah. That deep feeling, absolutely. So go on, Anthea.
Yeah.
Do it. Go
Yeah.
on, Mark. Go on. All you need is the licence. All you need is to just, nip out to the nearest nice registry office that you know and have a bunch of lovely daffodils and you can be married by lunchtime.
No, I think I'd like to do it better than that.
What would you like to do?
Not a big wedding at all. I would just like to do something. I want my friends there. I want that love is in the air. I want to be surrounded by, I want to look at all the people who mean so much to us in our lives. And my dad, who is 92, and he has said, yes, I will walk you down the aisle one more time.
Lovely. So get your skates on, Anthea.
Yes, I know.
And also, you're not a delayer. That's not your personality.
No, I know.
You're not a procrastinator. You're the
We've
opposite. We've all seen you changing duvet covers in a heartbeat, clearing out your fridge. All the things that other people put off, you never do.
I love those. When I found myself during COVID vacuuming the loft.
Stop it.
I thought, that's Anthea, you're going too far now.
I'm afraid I don't think that's an actual thing. I don't think people do vacuum. I've never even heard of that before. She always astounds me. And it's usually something to do with cleaning. Let's bring in Joyce on the line in Somerset. Joyce, hello. You've been married for over 50 years. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good. Tell me the secret of a happy marriage. I certainly haven't learned it yet. You tell me.
It's give and take. It's give and take. It can't be all one person all the time. I've got a bit of a sore throat, sorry.
Yeah.
If you've got to look at other and listen to other people's ideas. It can't be self all the time.
I do think, Joyce, and, maybe you will agree with this, that actually living with somebody else is a bit of an art form. It's not easy. And people think it is. And they throw their toys out very, very quickly. But actually, it is. And Joyce, you're so right.
Do you
that give and take.
I wonder how often you feel that you have to bite your tongue or you have to go along with something you don't really much like, that kind of a thing. Is that quite a lot of the time or not that often?
No, because after 50 years, you know what each other wants, more or less.
And tell me about what it is about him that you love. What is the lovely thing about him?
He's caring.
Oh, Joyce, we're looking at a picture of you on your wedding day, Joyce.
Sorry?
We're looking at a picture on the television of you on your wedding day.
Yeah, I'm a little bit behind here.
Look at that. You look beautiful. And you're celebrating 50 years. Congratulations. Oh, that's a gorgeous picture, isn't it? How lovely. I'm so glad we could do that. So, Joyce, what tips would you give to anybody else? What would you say is the key to this? I suppose you've got to be a good picker in the first place.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we went out March the 1st. We got engaged May the 31st. And we got married October the 12th. All in the same year.
So a bit like Anthea, when you know, as they say. You moved on at speed.
Yeah. But you've got to listen to one another. And it's like I say, it's not got to be all self. No. It's give and take.
But I'm imagining, Joyce, over 50 years... Over 50 years, there will have been some difficult patches, I suppose, because everybody's life has, really a whole load of ups and downs. Have you had to weather some difficult things?
You would get that if you weren't married, wouldn't you? You would get the same sort of thing if you... But I sometimes think there's got to be a commitment.
Joyce, why do you think that marriages are, at the moment, dropping? The figures are dropping for marriages.
Yeah, because it's made too easy for... I mean, all right, we got married because, back in the day, I was one of 12, and there was no way we would have been allowed to live with one another. That would definitely not have been allowed. But, looking back, I'm glad we didn't. If he can't commit to me and I can't commit to him, what's the point?
Very good point. And Joyce, I hope you have another very, very happy 50 years minimum. Thanks so much for the call. Karen wrote to us on Facebook and she says, I met my husband in 1991. I knew he was the one. We got married in a flash. Everyone said it wouldn't last. Fast forward to 2022 and we renewed our vows. And this time, listen to this, all of our 11 children were there. Oh my gosh. We have been married 34 years. He is my soulmate. Well, my goodness, what a compliment to him.
And I do envy people who have been able to be married, stay married,
So
the children are around. And I know we've had these conversations because you can't replace history. And I know when I got divorced, when Grant and I got divorced, and obviously I had 3 stepdaughters to think about, and my greatest fear was actually losing that family nucleus, which we'd all worked so hard to create.
And your youngest stepdaughter says she doesn't even remember a time without you in her life.
Absolutely, she said that to me. When I was, full of fear, she said, Anth, just remember, I can't remember you not being here. And when Grant and I got divorced, or when we split up in any case, I remember her standing in the kitchen saying to me, because she was just younger than the other two who were both a bit older and had got their lives, and I never forget her saying to me, so, Anth, where are you and I going to live? And it was then, and it was like a huge relief to me that she still considered me to be part of her life.
She wasn't just saying it, you did live together.
Oh, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, we did.
And people will be astounded by this. They'll think,
so
when there's a split, the children go with their biological parent and the stepmother or father becomes sidelined and marginalised and then eventually disappears. That's exactly what did not happen with you.
No, it didn't. And we'd all, we'd all been together since the girls were sort of 5, 6 and 2. And we are all still together as a unit. If I think of family, I think of them. But also, Grant and I made sure that despite our differences, that Christmases, birthdays, family events, we did pull together.
And now is Mark part of that?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yes, Mark has met Grant. Obviously, he knows the girls well now. And I'm proud to say as well that Peter, my first husband, was round and had supper with us.
I saw him a few weeks ago, Peter.
Did you?
Yes.
Lovely man.
Yes, a lovely man, absolutely lovely man. And a brilliant television mogul. I mean, a very creative and interesting man.
Exactly.
And you're all still friends.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, this is your next book, definitely, doesn't it? How on earth you achieve the absolutely impossible. It's remarkable.
Well, a little bit like Joyce, you have to think of everybody and everybody's feelings. It wasn't just about me and how hurt I was. I had to think about the girls, and I didn't want to put them into a position where they thought, I can't put Dad and Anth in the same room at the same time, knowing, and as there has been, the other two have got married, 2 of them have got married, Lily and Amelia, and Claudia's just had a baby, Dexter. So we're all very excited because I'm now Granny Anth.
Do I know you? Have I known you long enough to call you Anth? I've never called you Anth. I call you Anthea.
I always say this.
Never.
I call myself Anth because the girls always call me Anth. So it's either Anth AT. Mark calls me Anthea.
Let's have a little word with Julie in Bristol. Julie, I know you're finding this conversation pretty difficult.
Well, it's just interesting to hear other people's perspectives of marriage. I was married for 29 years and 4 days. My husband died 12 years ago, and I could never ever think of marrying anybody else. And in my eyes, I'm still married to him. I still feel married, and he was my soulmate, my best friend, everything. But I have known people that have got married again after being widowed, and they've been really, really happy. But I'm quite happy as I am because I got it right first time.
Do you feel as if you still kind of carry him in your heart and in your mind, and you can almost carry on talking to him and feel as if you know what he would say in every situation? Does that help you with all of this, Julie?
It does, yes. And he's always with me. And it could be a song, it could be a book, funny memories, really funny memories. He was a really funny man, and he was a wonderful man.
Do you want to say his name on the television? I'm very happy for you to. What was his name?
Yeah, his name was Steve.
Oh, it's really lovely to hear about him, Julie. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Appreciate your call and send you lots and lots of love. I mean, true love is definitely possible, isn't it?
Of course it is. Of course it is. And I think, listen, I fought very hard to save my marriages, and I know you did as well. But I do think that decision was made for me. So I had only one choice, which was to move on. Now, I didn't know how long that would take, and I had about 5 years, really, although I had dated around. I had 5 years sort of on my own.
See, that makes me feel better because I'm 2 years and 3 months.
5 years.
And for me, that feels like a very long time.
No.
I think before that, since the age of about 12, I've never been single, really.
I had never been
for more
single
than about 4 weeks max.
Yeah. Never, ever, ever had I been single. 6 weeks had I been single.
Yeah.
And then I bought a drill and some raw plugs, realised I could put shelves up, changed the tyre on the car, and started to become a very self-sufficient woman. And I know it's something we're going to talk about later on. Bank accounts came into it, and I suddenly realised that all these things that purely because I was married, not because anybody, we weren't sort of, playing Desperate Housewives, the fact that I'd let things go that I hadn't been part of, and now I am.
Now you're in control of your whole
Absolutely.
destiny. Let's have a word with Winifred. Winifred's in Staffordshire. Hello, Winifred. Thanks so much for ringing. Tell us what you did.
I just went to a dance one evening in Derby in 1961, I think it was.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This nice Welsh man came and asked me to dance, and I thought, I'll try. And from that second, we've never been apart. Oh. We got married 2 or 3 months later, and we're still together.
Wow.
And we still love each other just as much, and that's the truth.
Oh, still dancing. That is fabulous. So what was it? Because obviously that's properly love at first sight. You saw him, he saw you. That was it. You were each other's destiny. It's wonderful. It's romantic. It's fantastic. And you've lived happily ever after. But what did you sense in him or feel in him, Winifred, that you thought, this is my man, my person?
I felt comfortable even when he put his arms around me to dance. Straight away, there was a different feeling to when I danced with anybody else. And it just went from there. And I wouldn't... Truth, it's just come in. Oh dear, Ray, I'm on the radio.
Ray, we're talking about
You're
you.
on the telly, Winifred. Tell me something. Did you have parents around? Did you have to say to them, "I've just met someone. I'm in love. I'm going to get married"? Almost immediately.
No, not quite like that.
Right.
He was a Welshman, and he was living in Derby, working at Rolls-Royce. I lived at Burton-upon-Trent, and I went to these dances, the Trocadero at Derby, I think it was at the time. And he went, actually, because he went there so he could meet people, because he was a stranger in the area. Right. he'd moved lodging in to work at Rolls-Royce. And for some reason, I was with my sister. And I said, hey, Pat, my sister, that fella's following us round. She says, come on, she says, we'll go and hide from him. So she took me in the women's cloakroom. And we walked down the passage, went out the door, and he was waiting at the other door, you see. And as I come out, he said, I'm after a dance. That's all he wanted. And from there...
He got a lot more than a dance, didn't he? He got your whole life, your love, your hand in marriage, the whole thing.
And we've been married now 60... How many years, Ray? 63? 63 years we've been married.
Oh, well, go and give Ray an enormous kiss from us. But I know you don't need us to tell you to. You obviously want to anyway. Winifred, what a lovely call. Thank you very much. It's very uplifting, isn't it?
I know. Well, of course, I come from Staffordshire as well, Stoke-on-Trent. Yeah. And my mum and dad met on the school bus. They were married for 67 years. They were 14 and 16 when they met.
Wow.
And together right until my mum passed away, which is why then my sister and I brought Dad to live down in London.
My dad was the first boy that my mum French kissed.
So she did kiss other people.
She was horrified.
Slightly differently.
But also must have loved it, mustn't she? Because she fell in love and they got married. Thank you so much for your calls on that one. I hope that's made your heart feel glad, which isn't a bad thing at lunchtime at all, is it? Still to come. Before we move on to our next topic, we've had a fabulous call that we just got to fit into the programme. It happened over the break, and here she is. It's June in Somerset. June, a very, very happy anniversary to you and to Jeff. It's your 53rd wedding anniversary today.
Yes, it is. Thank you very much.
A pleasure. Tell us a little bit about Jeff. What do we need to know?
Jeff, he's a retired electrician, which is how I met him. I was office junior and he was an apprentice electrician and was helping to rewire the building where I worked. And I offered him a cup of tea, and as they say, the rest is history.
Did you fancy him? Is that why you offered him a cup of tea, or did you offer cups of tea to all the electricians?
Well, all the electricians, but yes, I did fancy him.
And how quickly were you convinced that he liked the look of you too, and it was all going to turn into something very special?
Oh, quite quickly, within probably a month or so, definitely.
Rewired the house.
And we better just get the expertise while you're on the line, June, 53 years on. What do you think is the secret to a marriage that really is happy, and you can tell you're very happy? How has it gone on so long and so nicely?
Well, I won't deny there's been ups and downs, as there is in any marriage, but it has to be give and take. And you have to ride out the bad times and you have to enjoy the good times. But it definitely is give and take. And I think that's the secret to a long and happy marriage.
All right, give Jeff a great big cuddle from all of us and have a very happy anniversary, June. Lovely to hear from you.